Welcome to Exploring Santa Cruz. My name is Jean Kratzer, and I'll be your host for today's program. This is a second half of a two-part program on FoodWhat, which is an organization in Santa Cruz County. We had our first program with the director and the founder of FoodWhat, Daron Comachero, and he gave us some background about the organization, that its objectives are food justice and empowerment of youth in Santa Cruz County. These are teenage youth who have not always experienced a level playing field. And the way that the organization accomplishes its objectives is through food, healthy, sustainable food and farming that enables them to create opportunities for youth to choose their own empowerment. Today is the second part of that program, and we have now two very special guests. The first is Irene Juarez O'Connell, who is a FoodWhat programs manager. Welcome, Irene.
Thank you. Great to be here.
It's wonderful to have you, Irene. And our second guest is Abby Camarillo, who is a junior staff member with FoodWhat. So welcome to you, Abby.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you for coming. And we'll be hearing more from you in just a moment. But I'm going to start first with Irene. Irene, as I said, is a programs manager. Irene came to FoodWhat in 2016. She has a background of community organizing around youth violence prevention. And she's also a prize-winning artist. And her passion is combining the idea of youth creativity with youth empowerment. So Irene, can you explain to us how you combine those two things in a program, what it feels like, what it looks like, and how it begins to have an impact on the youth in your program?
Yes, well, as a visual artist, to me, creativity is at the root of my practice in seeking collective liberation for myself and my community. And as a programs manager, we have a lot of opportunity to create programming that reflects what the youth let us know they're interested in. And to me, as we navigate these systems of oppression and inequality, oftentimes there can be a crisis in imagination. So it seems to me that creativity and empowerment necessarily go hand in hand. To me, it seems that we need the opportunity to dream into the worlds that we want to see and the ways that we want to be in community together. So at FoodWhat, everything is led, driven, and inspired by the youth. So we invite youth to share with us what their opinions are, what are their visions, what are their needs, and allow that to for us to co-create the space and shape the ways that we want to be together. So inviting youth creativity can look like from inviting them to come and set up a meal, kind of, create the meal plan, come up with the ingredients, to painting a mural on our shed that will be happening this fall. There's a lot of ways that creativity comes up in our programming. And to me, that feels like the necessary tool that we all need for our collective liberation.
When you say that you ask them about the things that they would like to see in the program, what kinds of things do they mention to you?
Whether it can be like from the games that we play or the meals that we're eating together, the kind of vegetables or crops or flowers that we're planting, to the organizations that we partner with, to the things that they want to learn about in our workshops. There's a lot of opportunities for us, like I said, to co-create the space together, and that comes from doing a lot of active listening to make sure that the youth are partnering with us to shape the space.
And if you were not an artist, how would it be different?
I might be a little bit more by the books and looking at what have other organizations done in youth development, which we do. We definitely look to our partners. But I think being an artist allows me to think outside the box, to kind of invite other youth who I see their creativity, whether it's, in their drawing or in their food, to invite them to dig deeper and really expand their imaginations. something that I've always dreamed of was doing more murals with youth. So throughout our program, we have been able to paint at different school gardens, like in Watsonville at H.A. Hyde. We have a mural up there. This fall, we'll be painting a mural on our shed. So for me, painting is my art of choice. But we've also incorporated a lot of, spoken word and hip hop and dancing and ways that we can feel what freedom feels like in our bodies and incorporate that as part of our program and as part of our work to really see that our creativity is the work that we're doing together.
Thank you. That really explains how artistic creativity can change the program. And now I'd like to turn to Abby. Abby, as I said, is a junior staff member. Now that has a special meaning to it because in order to be a junior staff member, you have to have first gone through the entire one-year program, and then very few people are chosen at that point to continue with the program as a junior staff member. And Abby is one of them, which means she has very, very special qualities. So welcome, Abby. I'd like to ask you first how it was that you first applied at the very, very beginning of the program. What made you want to be a part of FoodWhat?
Well, in the beginning, I knew about FoodWhat because both of my siblings were involved with FoodWhat, and they would always talk about how much they enjoyed being there. And I was always too young because I was in middle school, so it wasn't my time yet. Until I got to high school when I was a senior, I saw Irene come in, and I knew Irene for a couple of years before that, but just seeing her walk in, I knew it was going to be something special. And she was just gave us these applications and explained what FoodWhat was. And I raised my hand and I was like, I want one. I need one. I already know what it's about. I want to join. Let's get this started. So having my parents back me up and FoodWhat would be a good career for you, a good head start. And my brothers just enjoying it so much when they were younger that I wanted to be a part of it too.
So for you, it was almost part of a family tradition.
Exactly, yeah.
And when you came in the program, was it what you expected? Was it different? How did it seem to you?
Well, my brothers would always explain it like family kind of vibe to it, but you would be working very hard. It wouldn't be very laid back. It would be actually you put in physical work, also mental work. And when I came in, it was exactly that. It was like family, We grow very special connections with our bosses, if that's what they're called, people around us, our coworkers. But at the end of it, it's like a family, and we all really work very hard next to each other, pushing each other to be better, keep going, not just at FoodWhat, but outside of FoodWhat too. So it was what I expected it to be.
Because as we explained the first time we had a program on FoodWhat, but not everybody heard that program, you're actually employed.
Yeah.
When you're in FoodWhat. It's not something like a summer camp that you pay money to go to. You're actually receiving a wage for the work you do.
Exactly. And it's very important for the youth to be valued for their time, not just giving us a high five, oh, you're here, you made it today, but also getting paid, making us feel like adults, making us feel like our time is valuable. We're worth the time we're coming here and putting into the farm. And so getting paid was very important, not just because I need to pay my bills, but also because it was very rewarding because my time was being valued just like everybody else around me.
And is that one of the changes that happens to people who go through the program, this feeling that they have self-worth, what they do is valuable?
Yes. When I was in FoodWhat, my self-value grew a lot. I accepted myself more. I was very self-conscious, very shy. I wouldn't really raise my hand in class. I would stay quiet when people told me something. I was more like a follower than a leader. And in FoodWhat, I learned how to be a leader, but not just having people follow me, but be a leader with other leaders. And it helped me grow in loving myself inside and out, and just speaking for myself and not letting other people speak for me. So it was a very great empowerment moment that they gave me, and I just really love that they have.
That is powerful to hear you say that. What other kinds of changes did you see during that time?
During FoodWhat, the changes I've seen was, for me, like, it opened my eyes that I was capable to help our community. What I would do would actually help the community around me, that I could find different ways to speak up for my community, to have my friends join in like speaking up with me, to learning about the real hard issues that we're going through right now, and that just because I'm one person doesn't mean I can't do anything about it.
And when you talk about real hard issues, you're talking about issues facing the community?
The community, Latina, so my Latin community and children. I'm going to college too, so people going to college, how hard it is to pay for school. Like, a lot of things are going on that, like, I never really thought I could do anything about it. I thought I was just like one person with no power, no real voice. But through FoodWhat, they've really showed the value that I have and the value that my voice has and the changes that I can make by just speaking up.
Have you joined with other people now? Are you making changes in these very, very difficult issues that you're talking about?
Well, I've just started, so all I've been really doing is just talking with my friends, really getting the word out, really trying to speak up about it, not just like thinking about it in my head, looking at it through my phone and just like liking the picture. I'm talking about it with parties that I go to, people that I meet. We have a real grown up, if you could say, discussions about it. So I've been trying to like speak up a little more about it and find places that I could go, that I could support to be a part of, whether it be like, what do they call it when they do like the assemblies at a school that I could be a part of too, little meetings downtown, just things that, anything. Just trying to find something that I can do, speak up, spread the word.
And have you seen these same kinds of changes in other people that were in the program with you?
Oh yeah, a lot. FoodWhat has like, they've changed, not really like changed us, I guess. They've helped us find who we are inside and really find that voice that we have that's just been like locked up inside of us, too scared to come out. And I've seen that in a lot of people. I have a friend who, she was very shy like me, even more so, and she's been speaking up for herself. She is, I think, a manager now in a new job that she has. So it's amazing to see her grow and see her very like happy, even though it might be like she thinks it's a very tiny thing because it's at a store, it's a clothing store, but it's a big thing. She's a manager. She's very responsible, and I've had one of my brothers, he's very interested in cooking, and he is like taking those steps to become a cook. And FoodWhat kind of opened his eyes a bit, because like they had the whole food culinary set up in our kitchen. They would always bring produce from our garden. We would pick it, we would cook with it, and it really like broadened his like love for food. And so he decided to pursue it and to keep going. He's not doing school, but I see him that he's very happy with what he's doing and the steps that he's taking. And I think he's grown a lot. So FoodWhat is just like, they're not very by the book, like, here are the steps that you have to do to be successful. It's more like, take your time. Don't rush it. Enjoy the days, enjoy the moments, but really be passionate about what you want to do and what job you want to create or have.
That is remarkable. And this whole concept of finding your voice, not being afraid to speak up, what is it about the program itself? I mean, this is a program where you're digging in the earth, you're planting, you're harvesting, you're cooking, you're doing all these things, but how does that lead to finding your own voice, to not being afraid to speak up?
Yeah, I guess it would be confusing to see how like your voice could be so involved with like agriculture and being in the farm, but they also have like, what are they called, the dinners, the presentations that they have at different schools. Like I'm saying, they invite the youth to come in and speak in those. And I was invited to speak in a couple. I was very happy because one day Jerome called me or texted me, and he said that he really wanted me, if I was wanting to speak in the mayor's breakfast.
Mayor's breakfast?
Yeah, and I was very shocked because I'm little old me, but I just like Jerome spoke so highly of me to me that it just like sparked something in me. Was like, yeah, I can do that. I can speak in front of like a lot of people. Like, I can do that. And he when we went there, he just said, speak from your heart. He didn't give me any lines. He wasn't like, do this, you have to say that, speak about FoodWhat. It was just like, say what's in your heart, speak about you, and just like how you're doing you. And I just went up there and I did it, and I felt so empowered because like I was capable to go up there and talk to a lot of adults. And the conversations I got and the comments I got afterwards were so amazing from the people around me. The mayor, I think she said that if I was ever interested, that if I could go to work with her for her.
Wow.
So it's amazing. Right now I am going to college, so I'm very focused on that. It's very hard. College is very hard. But I know that like any like sad day, any like day that I'm having a hard time, I can always go to FoodWhat and just like sit down in the couch and talk about the day. So.
And if you hadn't been a part of FoodWhat, do you think you would have gone to college anyway, or was that part of the change?
I think that was part of the change because doing things by myself is very hard, especially going to college. I get very nervous and sometimes I get anxiety. But like I said, like anytime I know that I'm having a hard day, I can text Irene, Mary, or Lupita, and just like talk to them about like, hey, like, this is going really tough for me. Like, what can I do? Like, have any advice for me? And I know that they'd always like text me back with some positive energy.
So you really have a big, wonderful, warm, loving family.
Exactly. I mean, I have that with my parents, but they didn't go to college, so they don't really like understand, really grasp the idea of like how college can be so hard. But having people around me that have been through college, are still wanting to go to college, it's a very positive reinforcement on me to keep going and that I could make it.
And what are you studying in college?
Right now, I'm just doing my general ed, but I'm also working on ECE, becoming a teacher for early children, like toddlers, infants, maybe. But again, this summer, they took us to this farm, and it broadened my idea of the career that I want to pursue. So don't know yet, but it's around being a teacher or something like that.
Being a teacher, but connected with being on a farm?
Yeah, the youth, being on a farm, advocating. I don't know, I might add more roles to what I want to do in the future, but
you're definitely going to be influencing future generations.
Exactly, that's what I hope for.
So the whole multiplier effect of FoodWhat is remarkable.
Yeah, it's been a lot of ups and downs deciding what I want to have, because in high school, all the girls, all the kids, they have already an idea of what they want to go to, what school they want to go, what career they want to have, what exact steps they want to take. I didn't have a clue. I didn't have an idea. But knowing that I had FoodWhat backing me up, knowing that like I could call them being like, hey, right now I'm going through a hard time, like can anybody help me? They help us like get other jobs after FoodWhat if we decide to keep going. They help us like, I think they've helped me maybe like decide a couple of my classes once. Maybe Mary helped me, but it was just like a lot of support that I really needed. And it's really helped a lot.
You have the title of junior staff member. So what do you do in FoodWhat as a junior staff member, given that you're also going to college and have all of that time taken up?
Yeah, being junior staff is, we're like an in-between. We connect with the youth the same way our other staff connects with the youth, but it's, I guess, a little more personal since we are like still going to school. We still have like the same patterns in our lives that we're going through. We get to connect with them in a level where I have friends now with staff from there, this summer crew, and we hang out after work. And I've helped a couple with like just tough times that they've gone through, like school, life, and farming. We connect, and it's hard to talk about it because we're not coworkers. We're not like people that we have to see every day. It's like we're happy to see each other. It's like we look forward to like hang out on the weekend and then going back to work to hang out again and get paid for it. So I see a lot of them grow, and I help them too in whatever way I can if they want me to help them. We're there to basically keep each other on task, doing what we have to do, but also having fun and enjoying the time that we're there. So that's what I do. It's kind of hard to explain, but that's sort of an idea.
But it sounds like a really crucial role because you're closer in age to the youth participants. You've been through the entire program that they're going through, and maybe they get stuck in places, and you know what that feels like, and you can help them.
Yeah, and since I'm junior staff, I get to like talk to a couple of them and see if they want to be a part of junior staff in the future and see if they want to keep growing in that particular area. So I get to broaden their perspective on like being in FoodWhat and what it really is about, like being junior staff. Maybe like we also right now they have different jobs. Like they have if you want to talk about, I don't know what exactly different jobs they have, but like the flowers.
Yeah, in the fall, the youth can choose what aspects of the farm work they're interested in. So we have a flower management crew, a farm management crew, harvest management, a crew that runs our farm stand out in Salud para la Gente in Watsonville. We have a crew that does community educators who goes around to other youth groups and high school classrooms to teach workshops. So there is the next level from summer into the fall where there's more responsibility and more ownership over the aspects of the farm work or community work that they're really drawn to.
So this is the third stage of this 4-stage program. It starts with perhaps you can run through them.
Yeah, it starts with the spring internship. It's a once a week, 3 hours a day workshop internship where the youth are coming to do farming, cooking, and workshop. And then the summer program is our full on, the core of our programming. And then our fall programs are more of what I just explained, the management positions. And then from there, our first year crew can apply for second year positions.
And what happens in the last quarter? And let me just say, before you go on to that this is KSQD Santa Cruz, 90.7 FM, and ksqd.org on the web. We're talking about FoodWhat with the programs manager of FoodWhat, Irene Juarez O'Connell, and Abby Camarillo, who is a junior staff member who has gone through the entire FoodWhat program. So, Irene, if you could just tell us a bit more about those jobs, and then what happens in the winter quarter once you finish the fall quarter.
Well, because we're on the farming season, this winter is really when the farm is sleeping. It's undercover crop. So the winter time is when we spend a lot of our time kind of planning the program. Community educators happens around that time. We also have a harvest festival in late October. We have a Giving Thanks dinner for the crew, some like Thanksgiving. But the wintertime is really for our team to do a little bit more internal planning, assessment, preparing. So we don't actually have direct programming with youth aside from the community educators. So our primary programs are during the spring, summer, and fall.
And could you just say a word about the community educators?
Yeah, so we have 3 main workshops that we will train youth to lead to their peers. One of them is Fast Food Jeopardy, so it's a game show style game about the fast food industry. The other one is Trace Your Taco, where you get to trace your taco through the food system like a conventional Taco Bell taco, learning about environmental impacts and impacts on livestock. And then the other workshop is What You Think, What You Drink, and that's getting folks literate on how to read labels, so learning about sugary drinks and how to do the calculations of how to identify how much sugar is in the drinks that so many of us often drink.
That's just about brought us up close to the end of our program. Is there anything that you wished I'd asked you that I didn't? We've covered it all. Okay, well, then I would like to thank my two guests, Irene Juarez O'Connell, the programs manager or a programs manager of FoodWhat, and Abby Camarillo, who's a junior staff member. And could you just very quickly, Irene, give us the website for FoodWhat so that anyone who's listened to one or both of our programs on FoodWhat and would like to know more can go to your website?
Absolutely. We're on the web at www.foodwhat.org. We're also on social media, Instagram and Facebook. Instagram is at FoodWhat Farm. And we are so grateful to be working with the fabulous Abby. Thank you so much for coming, Abby. You are a gem and bring so much wisdom to our crew. So thank you.
Oh, thank you.
You've been listening to Exploring Santa Cruz with Jean Kratzer and her two guests.